There is one thing Christ was very clear about, and that is that during this lifetime, we as believers, we will go through tribulation. We will go through multiple incidents in which we are the target. Worldly people in general also go through stuff. So will believers. But believers will be targeted specifically because they are walking by faith. So don't think that just because you walk by faith and you anticipate things that no incidents will happen. If you're well prepared in faith, then the incidents won't harm you at all, as Christ told us. Today, I was with a believer at a KFC. We wanted to get some chicken. So I was in line waiting for me to make my order. Suddenly, I heard the believer tell me, Rashid, we're leaving. Because I don't want to end up in jail tonight. So I was thinking, what? So I looked around. I walked towards the believer. And there was this couple fighting with him. And the believer did what he could to calm things down. So what happened? Suddenly, the girl or the woman ran to him, trying to push him, and he put his hands up and made plain, woman, don't touch me. Suddenly, the boyfriend came with a fist, and the boyfriend missed the face of the believer, and the believer grabbed him very firm and held him. And the guy tried to hit him here and there, and then there were people around in the restaurant that intervened. When I wanted to intervene to pull them apart, that girlfriend jumped on me and told them to just leave them. And I was thinking, sorry. This is what I would think in my mind. Why do you assault me like this? Why do you jump on me like this? I was not happy with it at all. Eventually, they were torn apart, and the guy kept on threatening that fellow believer. But for some reason, when I came from the line and I noticed what's going on, the guy, for some reason, he didn't even see me. I'm a bit tall and I was standing there. And right before I wanted to tell them, cut it out, the Holy Spirit prevented me from doing that. He attacked the believer. Now the believer only had a small rip on his jacket and that's it. The other guy had a scratch in his neck. The believer did not hit him nor anything like that. But the people that came were holding the believer, even though the believer was the one that was attacked. Probably it's skin color that was involved, I don't know. But anyway, we walked out. So I was thinking, what is this? And we walked away. I decided to purchase a meal somewhere else. Later, the believer and I decided we're going back to explain this to the manager, and we did. And while we were gone, the police came, they talked to the guy, and the guy didn't want to file any charges because the guy admitted to police that he was wrong. So we explained to the manager and we walked away in peace. Because me and that other believer decided, you know what, we're not going to flee from stuff. We are more than overcomers. We're going to face this by faith. And we did it. Now, I was a bit shocked when this was going on. Also because it triggered some memories of how I was assaulted when I was younger. Because people want to relieve themselves. And this is what I mean, believers. This fellow believer that I was with, everything was going well in his circumstances. He used to have many troubles around him. He overcame all those troubles. And things were working out for this believer. And now, this happens. Now, listen to me, believers. Incidents will happen. As I mentioned before, offenses will come. And why did they turn on this believer? Because this believer put his coat on a chair, he went to the bathroom to wash his hands, he returned back, and this woman sat at the place where he placed the coat. So he told the woman, my friend's over there in line, he's coming soon. You can sit on the other side. She lost it at the believer. Then the boyfriend came and said, okay, just stand up. And the boyfriend attacked the believer. And the believer told him, hold on a minute, why do you talk to me like that? The believer even explained to him, probably should have just walked away. The believer told him, I'm not a guy from the streets that threatens with guns nor knives, anything like that. I'm just talking normally to you. But the guy kept on going. It was at that point that the believer called me and I came. And it's later and it's just like a half minute afterwards, they really came on to the believer. First the woman, then the male. And I was thinking, what is this? I know what it is now. This believer was having victories in his life, and now the enemy came with this BS. Now, understand this, believer. Incidents will happen. Don't let it shock you. Just be well armed so that when incidents come, when offenses come, you overcome them at ease. Me, I have not experienced things like this for years. I did experience psychic violence, a lot of it, that even began to affect my physical health, but that is because those perpetrators don't dare, because they're not able to come close to physically harm me or to kill me. That's why their negative meditation affects me at a distance. So I go through violence also, but the violence is at a distance. But I do feel it when it's going on, even though I don't know exactly who's doing it and what's going on. Well, this believer, he is recently walking in the power more and more, and this is what happened to him. He had other incidents where people kind of not really assaulted him, where people just made him a target. Let me tell you this, believers, those that follow this channel. There will be incidents during his lifetime of assault upon you. There will be bad stuff pushed and forced on you, but when you walk by faith, you overcome them. Look, that's why I prefer to walk with believers. Yet two believers in the name of Christ, so no matter what demon was there, they couldn't have won, and they couldn't win anyway. Just understand that we live in a time where people are frustrated and they don't want to face things. So with the least opportunity they have, they unload themselves. And there are worldly people, unbelievers, that die in those violent incidents. There have been a few in the Netherlands in the past days. They don't get media attention, but it happens. Now, listen to what I'm saying, believers. That is why I always tell you to walk in the power. Because offenses will come. Somewhere, someone is going to feel attacked by you, even though you didn't attack them at all. And they'll look for some excuse to unload on yourself. Even if you walk away and you remain polite, they'll still assault you. But when you walk by faith, you'll overcome it. Look, that incident could have easily escalated with a fatal result if we were not believers. So listen to me. I'm someone, I overcome a lot of violence against me. And even scam artists and those debt collectors don't even dare to do anything anymore. I shared an incident with you, I believe, was it in October, or where a debt collector wanted to come concerning some tax file that didn't, and I knew that it didn't add up. I warned them by email that there would be repercussions and there would be vengeance from my Lord on them if they continue. They didn't come. They didn't. Normally, if they came and you were not at home, they would assault you with letters, with threats. Nothing happened. They stayed away. I'm at peace. The violence is real. The assaults are real. And the casualties are real also. That's why, believer, walk by faith. And remember, every time you go through a victory, remember that there is some type of BS that the world will come up with to distract you from the good that just happened to you. I don't know which pattern Satan is using on you. Maybe it's using the pattern of worry on you. With others, it's using the pattern of physical violence, like with that other believer. With some, he uses suicidal patterns, where you get suicidal moods. I don't know what the enemy is using on you, which pattern he's applying. Just realize that the enemy will apply patterns to keep you away from walking in life in abundance. You are the believer. Walk by faith. Be at peace.